My name is Mungala Mbuvi, and of course I'm with City Muga in the studio. We are joined by the person we've been telling you about for the last couple of days that he was going to be joining us. I'm talking about none other than former Chief Justice David Maraga. Mheshimiwa, welcome to Radio Generation.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity to be here and speak to Kenyans and others.
Thank you for also honoring our invitation.
Yes.
One of the things that I've been meaning to ask you for a very long time, ever since you declared your bid to run for president, was, we've seen a lot of people in your position who've retired, wakena nyumbani, wakatulia, but you decided to run for president. Perhaps the question I'd ask is why?
Why?
Yes.
That's an interesting question. I've been asked that question very many times. Let's look at what we have in this country and the way the things are running, the way the government is running things. You know very well what happened in 2024.
Yes.
With the Gen Z protest. We had young people being killed. Young people being kidnapped. We saw it. You saw those clips where some young people were shot outside Parliament.
Yes.
When I looked at that, I got horrified. And I was fearful, and I was asking myself, what is happening in our country? That is something I had never seen. I don't know if you had ever seen anything like that before. And I mean, I got quite worried. A few people I spoke to a few days after that were of the same view. We were saying, look, I mean, this is serious. If this goes on, we will not have a country.
Yeah.
And everybody was saying, look, something must be done. I was saying that something must be done.
Yeah.
And we had that conversation. At least did I know that anybody was thinking about me as one of, as the person who should do something.
Right.
And then later on, some friends, they go together and said, look, something must be done, and we think you should do it. I said, why? I've not been a politician. They said, look, leadership does not necessarily require politicians. There are many other people who are even in the private sector,
yes,
who are great leaders.
Yes.
Leadership is somebody who can be depended upon, somebody who can guide, somebody who can work with other people and run a country.
Yes.
And the conversation started from there. Thereafter, I was met by a few groups of young people, and I made the decision to run because of what the country is. Or where the country is.
Right.
If you look around, and this didn't start last year, we have this culture of political impunity. Those in power sometimes think they are law unto themselves. They tramp upon people's rights, and they want to get away with it. They don't want to comply with the law, and as a result, they injure a number of people very, very badly.
Yes.
Court orders are not obeyed. We have seen cases where court orders have just been disregarded. And what does that mean? Somebody has gone to court for years, paid a lot of legal fees, struggled. Court has given him a judgment.
Right.
And those who are supposed to implement, or those who are supposed to satisfy the decree, just disregard the law. Then you ask yourself, if we are going to have a country where law is disregarded like that, it's now going to be like survival of what, as they say, survival of the fittest. What does that mean? People will take up arms.
Yeah.
If you go to court and you get court orders and you are not being given any remedy, you will resort to violence, and that's what we don't want.
Yes.
Then come corruption. Corruption has been in this country, but it has never gotten as high as it is, in my view. The looting of public resources, left, right, and center, has left the country with no resources to run its affairs. What has that led to? It has led to borrowing, and borrowing heavily. Kenyans are now paying, I'm told it is getting to close to 70% of the national revenue. I mean, those, if they don't worry anybody, I mean, I got very, very concerned.
Yes.
And I thought that we should do something.
Yeah. A lot of people, political analysts and people who've been in this game for a very long time, and by game I mean politics, they have come out to say that CJ Maraga is the ideal president this country needs because of his track record on integrity and other issues. But that alone is not enough to help him win the presidency. I don't know what you think of such statements, because I'm certain you've heard of them.
Yes, they've said that. Look at who is saying that. Whether or not they would want to work with me. Anybody who feels like I'm going to be a threat to his position or to his group would say that. Those who want to maintain the status quo will not want a change. But if you talk to many Kenyans want fundamental change to the governance of this country. Fundamental change. It's not cosmetic change. We want fundamental change to the governance of this country.
Right.
And that's what I bring. And I've said this many times, I will demand that everyone obeys the law. And to get everyone to obey the law, it will have to start with me. As president, I will obey the law.
Yes.
If there are court decisions against me, I will appeal. If I reach the apex of the judicial process, I raise my hands until Kenyans look, this is the decision which has been taken. Unhappy as I may be with it, I have to comply.
Yeah.
And tell all the officers working with me to obey the law.
September 21st, 2020, you advised the then President, Uhuru Kenyatta, to dissolve Parliament. And it was on the issue of the 2/3 gender rule.
Yes.
Now, walk us through the legal process of what would happen if that advice was followed. What would we have seen happening?
Oh, that's a very good question. What was at the issue?
Yes.
What was at the issue was a constitutional demand. You know, after the promulgation of the new constitution, there were what we call transitional provisions.
Yes.
Parliament was given 5 years to enact legislation to actualize the 2/3 gender rule. What is the 2/3 gender rule? The 2/3 gender rule demands that no appointative or elective positions should be occupied by more than 2/3 of one gender. In other words, if it's Parliament has got to have at least 1/3 of either gender. At least one third. So to be compliant. Parliament did not enact that legislation, and there was a provision in those transitional provisions that if Parliament doesn't, anybody can make an application to the Chief Justice, not to the Supreme Court, not to the High Court, not to the Court of Appeal, but to the Chief Justice as a person.
This is the Constitution.
This is the Constitution.
Yes.
And that is a provision that was directed to me. I had 8 petitions. I served the government with those petitions. Attorney General, I served the National Assembly, and I served the office of the President. And I told them, look, show me cause why I should not recommend that Parliament be dissolved as the Constitution requires. The Constitution requires that if a petition is made to the Chief Justice...
The threshold is 1 petition.
The threshold was 1 petition.
1 petition, and you had 8.
I had 8.
Okay.
So, and they came. So I allowed them, I gave them time. He said, write submissions and show me why I should not make the recommendation. They wrote. They were giving me excuses that they have tried. You know, it's 5 years.
Yes.
They had tried to implement that by legislation, and they hadn't. I didn't find any reasonable cause, so I followed the dictates of the Constitution.
And you recommended?
And I recommended. I finished my work.
So if you are faced with the same dilemma as president, so if Kenyans vote you in 2027 and you're faced with a similar dilemma, you will dissolve parliament?
That will not arise because that provision has outlived its what?
Its mandate.
Its mandate. Outlived its mandate in the sense that it is now more than not really. It has not.
Not quite.
It has not quite.
Yes.
Yeah, it's still, it is because the provision has not been made.
Right.
So it can still come. So I will not allow that to come. What I will do is make sure that my government complies with the law.
What I wanted to know, since we're talking about a legal process, if Parliament was dissolved, what actually would happen?
Go back to elections.
As simple as that.
Yeah.
There are people who fear that if Parliament is dissolved, this is what they imagine, that the country would actually grind to a halt. I know it won't. I personally know it will not grind to a halt. But would it then not set in motion a foundation on which now you can actually build not just the rule of law, but the import of the rule of law?
Come again?
If Parliament was actually dissolved,
yes,
would we then not have set a foundation that anchors the rule of law? Okay? The pivotal position the rule of law has, and in entrusting the rule of law, change the adherence to legal provisions in the country completely.
Exactly. You know, if Parliament was dissolved and we held elections, you can rest assured that the first agenda of the new Parliament would be
to adhere to the law.
Adhere to that. So that they don't get dissolved also. Yeah. And you know, that will make a huge statement. In my view, even in my advisory alone, made a statement. Whether it was not complied with, that's another person. It is not in my hands. Me, I did my job.
Justice, the reason why I bring up the issue is this. A lot of what I have read regarding your campaign has had to do with the rule of law. The adherence, ensuring that the fidelity towards this is actually entrenched. And it's against a backdrop of a country where that very fidelity to the law seems to be an anathema to our existence. The example starting with President Uhuru and the pronouncements that was made, followed by this current president with regard to pronouncements of the court, a complete disregard for a court pronouncement simply means you have gone against the law. So what we then saw was an entrenchment, or the beginning of an entrenchment of impunity, where the law is something that you treat as a suggestion. Some people even stated as such that, maybe they were suggesting. Court rulings are not suggestions. They're definitive.
Yeah.
Now, to my point, if we have a country where the mindset of the people has been to follow that disregard for the law, would a campaign that anchors itself on the rule of law not go against the very thinking and the very premise on which very many people anchor their lives in Kenya?
Yes, I see what you mean. Quite a number of people have suffered because of the disregard of the law.
Yes.
Let me tell you, you get assaulted by your neighbor, you go to the police, and you're taken in circles with nothing being done. You can see what I mean. Why? Because the person who has assaulted you has influence over the police, and they are not acting on that. In my view, my reading of the situation is that the Kenyans, a majority of the Kenyans, want us to have the rule of law followed. Want us to have the rule of law followed, where somebody's rights have been trampled upon and he gets court orders. Those court orders should be implemented. Those court orders should be executed so that it doesn't recur. In fact, it is in the interest of Kenyans, not only the litigant who has obtained a court order. It is in the interest of Kenyans generally that court orders are complied with, or rather the law is complied with. What do I mean by that? Because if, for example, a police officer assaulted an individual,
yes,
and is dismissed, is prosecuted, that will send a strong message to the other police officers not to do the same thing. So who has benefited? You can see the benefit is to the general public. So in my view, the Kenya, those who would not want the law to be followed are those who are in cartels that are benefiting from the culture of impunity that we have. And I think they are in the minority. They are very few.
I agree that they are in the minority, but we have instituted, I was about to say a subculture, but it is a culture where we seem to allow impunity to thrive. However, there is a connection, a very direct connection with what we refer to as impunity, which manifests as corruption, the effect it has on the country. Two concurrent presidents have told us how much we lose on a daily basis as a result of corruption. And when you do the maths, we know what that could do. But the figures are huge, they're mind-boggling, and the connection between this thing that we accommodate called corruption and how it directly impacts the very development that we want. That as we accommodate these things, the very things that we want keep diminishing, and it is because we accommodate. How do you tie the economic benefits that are derived from adhering to the law? How do you communicate this?
Oh yes, that's extremely important. Because we have developed that culture of impunity, they go hand in hand with corruption.
Yes.
The kind of corruption we experience in this country is phenomenal. It is looting. It's actually not even stealing. It is looting of the public resources. When you get hundreds of millions being paid to ghost schools, hundreds of millions being paid to ghost hospitals and ghost workers, that should worry you. That is what I call budgeted corruption. You budget, you want so much to do ABCD, to give, to for Ministry of Education. And hundreds of millions are going to ghost schools, individuals' pockets. So we need to deal with that. The two of them, the rule of law and the fight against corruption, must go hand in hand. When you get the law obeyed, the accounting officers will know that you can't play around with public resources because the law will catch up with you, and you will have to be accountable, and you will have to go to court. So the Kenyans, I want the Kenyans to see this. I want Kenyans to see this. Once we obey the law, it means we will at least minimize, if not completely eradicate corruption, and there will be resources that will go to education, resources that will go to healthcare, and resources that will go to development. Yes.
We have heard of cases also of where corruption fights back, and where we've also heard of terms such as the deep state, meaning that there's something that we cannot see, this amorphous force that is controlling what is happening as far as corruption is concerned, and impunity, matters to do with integrity, and so on and so forth. How then do we reconcile that with the kind of leadership we want, which is what you are trying to project? Yet we are told that this monster, regardless of who gets in there, they will have to deal with it.
Thank you very much. Now, you know, Kenya is a democratic country. But the leadership we have had in the past has come up with what I would call an extractive system. A system that on paper is based on democracy, but when it comes to the utilization of resources, they find ways of stealing, of looting from the public for their own benefit. And when you go on in that state, it will get to a point where the people will say, look, we can't take it anymore. And I think that's where we have reached now. The Kenyans have said we can't reach it anymore. If you read, there's that book about, on how countries fail, how nations fail, by two people. I forget their names. One of them is very Amalu and Robbins. They say when you have reached that stage, he calls it the critical stage, critical juncture. When you reach there, you have two options. You either reform or you break. It is a make or break situation. We have reached there, and we can't allow the country to break. We need to come up with a system to restore, to put back the country on its rails. To restore the constitutionalism. When you restore constitutionalism, you will hold those those who handle public resources accountable, and you will restore the resources. I am convinced that coming on, I will deal with corruption head on.
Yes.
First of all, as an individual, I hate corruption. That's why I've never been involved in any corruption. Why? Because I know, and even the Bible requires us to own what we have worked for, not what we have stolen from other people. So, in my view, we can successfully fight corruption in this country,
right,
if we start from the top. Do you get me?
I get you.
If we start from the top, if the president comes up and says it is zero tolerance to corruption, and require all the officers working under him to do that, we will crash corruption, and we will get our country back to the rails.
Yes,
we are aspiring. The president has been talking about Singapore.
Yes.
How did Singapore get there? You need to read the history of Singapore to know how it got there. One of the things it dealt with decisively was corruption. Those who were in government and were involved in corruption were held accountable. In fact, some of them even committed suicide when the law caught up with them.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes. There is one fellow, one minister who committed suicide when the investigators were at his door.
Okay.
So, is that happening in Kenya?
Of course not.
That's not happening in Kenya. And when the president says he wants to drive the Kenyan economy to the Singapore status, I look at him and laugh and say, look, this is a pipe dream,
yes.
Which he doesn't mean. Because you don't say that until you put the mechanism in place,
yes, to
deal with that.
Mheshimiwa, there's something that happened last Thursday, the by-elections, and the reason I'm bringing up the by-elections is because you started your campaign largely on talking about the Gen Zs and talking about the support that they have for you. But we are seeing Gen Zs are not even participating in something as simple as a by-election. The numbers were quite low. When we talk about also the registration just to acquire voter registration status, they are not doing that. I don't know. Are you still looking to them to help you clinch this presidency, or will you re-strategize?
No. I'm looking to them. I'm looking to them. First of all, especially the young Gen Zs who have not registered, and those who registered recently, who are not able. I mean, they were not eligible to vote in this because we were using the old register.
Right.
It's true. The quite a number of Gen Zs have not registered. And that's one other thing I'm going to take up with IEBC. First of all, we have not made it easy for them to register. I can give you one constituency in Nyamira. That is not Mogrango. The registration center is at a place known as Gijauri for the whole constituency. If you want to go and register there, you need to spend up to to and fro. You need to spend almost 500 shillings to go and register. I mean, we are talking about young people who are first struggling to get something to eat. What I wanted to take up with the IBC is to come up with not say, okay, go to the registration centers. It should come up with programs where they go to the public. After all, government services are supposed to be taken to the public so that they make it regularly. I know it is expensive. They may not do it continuously, but they make it regularly, like after every quarter. They come out with a campaign and go to various places, go to schools, go to halls, go to even church crusades where people go in large numbers and put a desk there and register. Okay. So that those young people can go and register.
Justice, once upon a time when there was, well, not a very long once upon a time, there's a health service which was called NHIF. NHIF would come to you.
Correct.
If you had a large enough group of people,
yes,
and you are they would know. They would bring the equipment and they would register you.
Yes.
Getting IDs, I recall, it was the late 1990s. The people who are responsible for giving people identification, I was the headmaster of a school then. They were doing this round. They came to the school. They came and they were going to schools because there were many young men and women who are of an age where they could receive IDs. And even I had an old ID. I still had a very old ID. I got a new ID then. Exactly. So when you say the issue of taking service to the people, you can.
It is possible.
You can. It is not one of these difficult teeth-pulling exercises.
No,
it is not difficult.
Thank you. When you talk about, like, if you are talking of a constituency,
yes,
even a county. Actually, let's talk of a county. You just need like 5 officers. Let them move from one place to another. Say, look, this week we will be at Kiganjo.
Yes.
Those around Kiganjo here come. Even in that Kiganjo, see schools which are there. Schools are the places where young people have not registered, and some of them have gotten of age, especially university and colleges. Yes, with the heads of those institutions, and tell them, look, can we come to your place for say have a day? Yes. Can you get the schools are close that one? Can be asked to come there. Find out where they are holding like sports events which bring together, and you will register quite a number. But the government doesn't want to do that. In fact, the current government doesn't want to do that. If anything, I think they are doing everything possible to frustrate the registration of the young of the youths as voters.
You know what you say is actually spot on. Once upon a time, when I worked for the Kenya Medical Research Institute, when we wanted to have people volunteer to get themselves tested for HIV, you went to them, and again you looked for social functions where you knew there'd be very many people.
Yes.
And you told people in advance that you're going to be there, and you set up tent.
Exactly.
So those who are participating in watching could also come and get tested.
Exactly.
There are extremely many examples where services are actually taken to the people, and the numbers that you're thinking of, you actually manage to get.
Yes, thank you. Consider our brothers in the diaspora. In the U.S., in the whole of U.S., the registration centers are. Is it in 3 places? Washington and where? Is it somewhere in California?
Yes.
I forget that the other city.
Okay.
You want those people to fly from wherever they are to Washington to go and register. And these are the same people who are making a lot of remittances to the country, which are stabilizing our foreign exchange. My plea to IBC, especially in the US,
Yes.
let the registration officers move from city to city. City to city. I mean, what is so difficult going to a city for 1 week? I mean, advertise. I mean, give notice and say, look, we will be here in this city. In that city, move from one place to another and register people so that you facilitate. But when you make it difficult for people to register, it means you don't want them to register. You don't value their word, their input.
I want to ask you a 2-pronged question, Justice. One, there are people who always consider themselves experts, and on matters of politics and elections, there are very many people. I'm not going to go into the area of expertise because I'm not a good judge of whether they're experts or not. But among the things that such people say is that in a presidential, when one wants to make a bid for the presidential election, one has to visit at least 30 counties. That's what they say. I don't know why they chose 30 and not 31 or 29, but that's what they say.
Okay.
Now, these people also say that for this to happen, you need a minimum of 1 million for every visit that you make. It requires money.
Yeah.
This brings me to the question of campaign funding. Our constitution, there was an attempt to put a cap on what we call campaign. I'm using it as campaign funding. The 2-pronged question. If you were asked what the cap should be in terms of funding a presidential election, what figure would come to mind? That's number one. Number two, the question of the 30 counties. Is it possible to visit 30 counties without spending that enormous amount of money that these so-called experts claim you need to spend if you're going to visit every county to seek for their votes?
Thank you. I mean, visiting the counties, in my view, is a reasonable expectation. Because you see, there are quite a number of people who may not be having access to radio generation, who may not get, who have no TVs. Some people, you need to tell the people what you are offering. That is a reasonable expectation. And ideally, you should actually go to all the counties. In my view, one should go to all the counties. But you have raised a very pertinent issue of the cost.
Yes.
The cost implications. Those cost implications are there. To go around those impediments, we need to go on radio, like we are doing this morning. You need to go on radio. You need to get put your visuals in some of those areas, and even in the counties, you can't go to every part of the county. You will have some who are your agents in those areas. They will go to public rallies and tell the Kenyans what you are offering. So the issue of cost, that's extremely important. Why is that? There was even a cap. There is a law. I can't remember. I haven't checked the exact maximum you are supposed to spend. The reason for that is very good. It's very good reason. You are not supposed to bribe voters or induce voters to vote for you, because that alone is corruption.
Yeah.
Now, but that is what is being done. You know what happened in Imbere.
Yes.
You know what has happened in these other places. Even before that, What have you seen President Ruto and his brigade doing? They are in State House giving what they call empowerment. Let me ask you, from what vote is that empowerment being given? We have not been told. I don't know of any line in the budget,
right,
for that money to be given. So what does that leave you to think? This is already, I mean, they are campaigning. And in fact, they don't make it a secret. I saw one MP the other day giving money in the rural areas, and he says, this man has come from Ruto. And what are you going to do? He said that, I can give you that clip. He said, what does that mean? When 2027, what will you do? And the people are rolling back and saying, we will vote for Ruto.
Okay.
So that's what is happening.
And Mheshimiwa, those are the people that you're dealing with, because I know a few weeks back, you went, I think it was some place in the coastal region, spoke to these people, alafu ukawacha what we would call mikono mitupu. So when you meet on the campaign trail, the people that you're talking to saying that umewacha mikono mitupu, does that discourage you? Because if that is what it will take for them to vote for you, then this might be an exercise in futility.
Yes. I was in Kisii last week,
right,
in a funeral, and in the course of my speech, I told them that I'm not going to give any inducements, and I tell you why. Those handouts are the ones which have driven this country to where we are. A governor spends, say, a minimum of 10 million shillings to campaign and get into the office. What is his first priority when he gets into the office?
Recoup the 10 million.
Recoup the 10 million. Thereafter, what is he going to do?
Steal some more for the next election.
Exactly. And that's what is happening now. In the central government, that's why I've said it is looting. To buy the MPs to pass legislation as you want, and we have seen it. To do all things, I mean, they literally to control the affairs, the political affairs, you need billions of shillings. And that's why the looting is going on unabated. I want the Kenyans, and please let us all Kenyans think about that. The leaders steal from you. They come and give you inducements, which are not even much, 1,000 bob, even up to 10,000. I saw some teachers going to State House and they are given 10,000. I'm happy. Some of them protested and they said, look, we want our salary paid according to the CBAs.
Yeah.
They give you that inducement. You vote them back, and the looting continues. I want the Kenyans to see that. That's why I am saying, look, I don't want to give any inducements. Even if I had the billions,
yes,
I would not give. And I want us, if we deal with that, we will enable young people. We will enable, people, intelligent people who may not have money and who have leadership capabilities to be elected to various positions.
Yeah.
So that we don't have to peg our electoral process on money.
Yeah.
Yes.
Your colleagues at the judiciary, former colleagues, of course, when you say that you wanted to run for president, what was their reaction?
Some of them were wondering how that is going to be possible. But when I told them that, look, this is what we want to do, quite a number of them, of course, they are those are public officers. They are non-partisan. They say, look, we wish you the best. We wish you the best, and let's see. They're waiting. Let me tell you, I have a lot of silent majority from the Kenyans. Kenyans want change. Kenyans want change, and if I will be in the ballot, I'm sure I will be on the ballot.
Yes,
you're going to see a dramatic change in this country.
If Kenyans really want change, and perhaps I'm wrong in this, you'll help me figure it out. We didn't see that reflected really in the by-election. Or perhaps we're saying that those are just few pockets of the Kenyans, because if we just go back a few months ago, perhaps even 6 months ago, there was this deafening noise on one term, and Ruto must go, and kufa dereva makanga na abiria na kila mtu. But when we came to the by-elections, it's like nothing really has changed, and that was just noise, because people literally went with that thing that we thought they did not want.
Yes. There are petitions which are being filed.
Yes.
The information I have is that a huge sums of money was spent in this by-election. There was even violence. Some people were shied off from going to the polling stations because they didn't want to be involved in violence. The sad thing is that the IBC did nothing about it. When you have violence, like in one area, you have goons chasing people around. The IBC is supposed to suspend the election when there is violence. They didn't do that, and they had better know that we are watching. So, in what has happened in those areas, there was no free and fair election. Last night we saw a report from, is it Elog? Yes. They were saying there was no free and fair election. We have seen what has happened in our neighboring country. It is now making a lot of noise because the world is awash with the atrocities that were committed in that country. And it is now creating them a huge problem. So, and this is a warning. This is a warning to Kenyans that unless we are vigilant, Ruto's regime is going to visit Kenyans with violence and want to retain power. So we should be vigilant and ensure that we have a peaceful and a free election. We should demand that and have it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It is a good thing you are not a member of the body that calls itself the United Opposition. And I say this because the question that I normally ask with regards to that particular group of Kenyans may not be pertinent to you. However, seeking political office requires getting people to understand what it is you're going to do for them. It also means that when you talk to them, this must be the focus of your attention, what you are going to do for them.
Correct.
Okay?
Correct.
Now, if I were to ask the question, in your campaigns, let's start with, do you have an economic framework that you talk about to the people and the groupings you speak with, telling them what you hope to do for them and how you plan to do this, and how it is their participation will fit in to whatever you want to do? Or at this particular point in time, are you still doing the business of finding out what people believe they need so that it can fit into the economic framework that you have?
Thank you very much. To prepare manifesto, you need to know what people require. I started with the town hall meetings. I saw some MP the other day saying, look, Maraga is going and he meets a few people. To him, he wants me to have crowds.
He wants to have a rally.
A rally. And you know, those rallies have not even started. The campaign has not started. So what am I doing? What I'm doing is I'm meeting professionals. I'm meeting groups of people. I'm meeting leaders from various parts of the country to tell me what their challenges are. To tell me what their challenges are and ensure that we on board those issues to our manifesto. On the economy, there's quite a number of serious challenges in various parts of the country. If you go to the northern Kenya, These are pastoralists. You listen to them and you hear what challenges they have. And by the way, most of those people even have suggestions of how you are going to resolve their economic problems. They say they will tell you, if it is a pastoralist, they will tell you what they want so that they can be able to rear their animals profitably. If you go to the farming areas, like you go to the tea farming areas, they will tell you their challenges, and that's what we are doing. So we are coming up with a robust manifesto that is going to address the various challenges, economic challenges that we have in the country.
I have to ask. I have this perspective. It's a perspective that the growth of a nation like Kenya is more or less dependent on the growth of the county governments. Because Kenya is a county government country. We do have semi-autonomous units that function as a government. Do you have a plan that will bring in the county governments, one, to ensure that the resources that they are given are utilized for what they are purposed, and two, that their own source revenue is maximized to the point where over a certain period of time, maybe not even in the time of your tenure if you're president, that their own source revenue can actually run the affairs of each individual county?
Yes, that's a very good question. You know, all the devolved funds which go to counties are audited. First of all, they come up with their budget proposals. They need this amount of money for these projects. What we are going to do is to ensure that those devolved funds actually go to the specific projects they are meant to be utilized in. What are we talking about? We are talking about accountability. The governors will have to be accountable. We have seen a few who have utilized the resources properly, and they have done a wonderful job. If you look, we had the case of Professor Kifuta Kibwana in Makueni. He built was it level 5 hospital?
Yes.
with the 130 million. Now it can cost even if it costs twice as much. That is visible. That tells you that it is visible. It is possible. It is possible to do that. So let us have accountable governments that the resources which go to them are able to be utilized. Some are capable of raising income from various activities. Like Nairobi should actually almost be self-reliant.
Own source revenue.
If it comes up with a robust mechanism of collecting revenue and utilize that revenue properly, you will see a lot of development in the city. So, we are going to put in place a mechanism that will because you will have people, you will have experts who will tell you, look, this county is supposed to raise so much from various activities that are there. You will get the governors and ask them why they are not raising that revenue. If there are any challenges that they will require the central government to assist them, we will assist them and get the revenue collected.
The things you say make perfect sense. But you will have to engage people to help you implement them.
Correct.
Now, we are in this unfortunate situation where our lived experience is what people are before they get into certain positions of authority and what they then become when they get to those positions of authority sometimes are as different as night and day. Why do I say this? I look at the discussion around the inclusivity of a government where not only are the people's views considered and acted upon where one can, but that they do not seek to be extractive. The extractive nature of our politics and the implementation of our policies more or less reflects the situation that we find ourselves in. The words spoken are of inclusivity, but the actions are extractive. So the citizenry don't benefit from what it is they were told they would benefit.
Yes.
Brings me to the people who will help you run your government. What you will consider to be the key ingredients that you need in the individuals who will help you run the government.
Thank you. Competence and integrity. We will vet the officers, especially in the appointment. In the appointments that the president, as a president, I will make. The CSS, the PSS. We will have integrity as number one. Then followed by competence and other considerations that you have to take. Before you in constituting the government, and demand accountability. As I said, I will have zero tolerance to corruption, and I want Kenyans to see my record. I will have zero tolerance to corruption, and I believe very, very strongly that if that is there from the top, we are going to deal with corruption. Because then you will say, look, here you are as a PS. I've given you this position. If there are, corruption scandals against you, first of all, I will ask you to step aside as we investigate. And if there is evidence, we'll get those people to court. As I said, that's what happened in Singapore. And they were able to deal with that. So what I will do, you have said it correctly, and you have said that quite a number of people have given promises that they are going to do ABCD, but they have not done. I want to promise Kenyans that, look at my record and see what I've done in the past. What I've said I will do. I have complied with the law. Where the law requires to make a decision, even if it's unpopular, I've made those decisions. And trust me, if I have not been involved in corruption, I am now 74, going to 75 early next year. This is not the time I'm going to start corruption. No. If I wanted to corruption, I have had opportunities in the past to be involved in that. I want Kenyans to trust me with their resources. I will ensure that the resources this country raises are directed to where they are supposed to.
Justice, we're going to ask you to, if you may, give us a few minutes so that we can expound on this matter so that it is understood. Because we're going to go into news now for a minute or two.
Actually, I've been directed to postpone that to the next hour so we can actually continue.
We can actually continue. We do not need to.
Yeah.
Will you give us some minutes that we can continue with this discussion?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay.
Excellent.
I have a question, Mheshimiwa, in regards to this whole issue of... first of all, let me just say this. I love your honesty because you do not pretend to know everything as opposed to other leaders who would probably sit in the same position and tell us about these robust ideas they have in terms of economic stimulus and corruption and everything. What you have said, and I've understood very clearly, is the fact that you will implement the law to the letter. And I think that is, in my opinion, better than even a manifesto, whereby if we implement everything that is in our constitution, we shall be able to take care of our economy, we shall be able to take care of corruption, we shall be able to take care of our healthcare and so much more.
Exactly.
However, we have a problem currently, and it is our public debt. What ideas do you have as far as taking care of our debt is concerned? Because we are now told that we owe the world, including our own selves, some 12 trillion Kenya shillings. What is your plan in ensuring that figure goes down?
Thank you. Look at when Ruto came to power, the public debt was at is it 8.6 trillion? It has now gone to 12. And it looks like it is continuing. The first thing I will do is to have an audit of the debt. and get a restructuring so that we have some money for other businesses. Stop further borrowing. Stop further borrowing, because most of this borrowing is coming in to be utilized not on development, but actually to be utilized on recurrent expenditure. There is a lot of waste. There is a lot of waste in government. That's the first thing. Those are the areas I will deal with. Stop further borrowing. Deal with waste in government. Wastage in government. You know, the government buys goods at very, very expensive prices. Compared to the ordinary people. Deal with that, so that we save, we make savings, and then, as I said, have an audit of the public debt. See what you can restructure, so that the repayment leaves you with some money to be used in other projects.
Right.
So I will have to do that. I will have to do that. Public debt is one area which we must address clearly. If we are going to get out of this hole, and we can't continue borrowing. As a result of the heavy borrowing the government is doing, banks are not lending to wananchi. So the SMEs are almost crumbling. Businesses are closing down because of the high interest rates the banks are charging to give money to the individuals, and because of the depressed economy, the banks are extremely careful to even lend, because they can see you go there with a business proposal. First of all, the first thing in their minds is that they have serious doubt whether or not you're going to actually do business and be able to repay.
Yes.
So what are they doing? They are lending to government because they are safe.
Government.
As a result of that, the economic activities in the country have been depressed. You go to even the shopping centers, which should be used to be vibrant, you can't see any economic activity there. And it's as a result of the government's heavy borrowing. So if you can deal with waste, deal with corruption, I'm sure we'll make huge savings that we will be able to put back into the economy, and the country will change.
Some of your competitors in the presidency, in the race towards the presidency, have said that they will negate paying of the odious debts.
Yes.
Perhaps you can help us understand from a legal perspective if that, number one, is a viable option, whereby we say there are some debts that were taken in the name of Kenya. However, Kenya never benefited. Those monies perhaps never even reached the accounts of our country, and they disappeared somewhere in the air. They're in various accounts out there. So if these leaders claiming to do that were to actually do that, would it have any legal repercussions on them and on the country?
The borrowing has been done in the name of the country in Kenya. Admittedly, there are some provisions you can't go around. Odious debt which has been taken, you saw the Auditor General the other day saying, look, more than 300 billion borrowed has not come to the country. Deal with that situation. The advantage we have in the law is that criminal law has no limitation period. If you stole in 1990, and there is evidence, we can mount a prosecution against you.
Okay.
So one of the things we are going to have to do, as I said, we will have to do an audit of the odious debt.
Right.
The debt, the public debt. Did this money come to Kenya? It was borrowed. We have seen some cases where money has been borrowed and has been banked in some foreign accounts.
Yes.
Some of that doesn't find its way into Kenya. There are people who are responsible. There are people who are in the office. Ask them why this money didn't come here and prosecute it. We had recently, sometimes back, leaks, WikiLeaks. You saw, was it WikiLeaks?
Oh, yes.
And the Bandora what?
Yeah.
Money that has been taken out of the country. You prosecute those who are involved in that. And if you I mean make some recoveries, they will go into repaying the loans. There are some loans that have been taken, and they didn't have a proper legal basis. Those ones you can challenge. But as I said, I don't want to. I mean, to give a wrong impression.
Right.
That you can stand up and say, look, whatever so and so borrowed, I'm not going to pay. A country continues as a country.
Yeah.
And you are under obligation internationally.
Okay.
To honor your obligations. So we will act within the law. Those ones which have no proper legal basis, you will challenge them.
Okay.
Those ones which are have a legal basis, find a way of restructuring them, and so that you reduce the debt. That's after you have stopped borrowing.
Okay.
After you have stopped the borrowing.
That's why I say I prefer a much more honest conversation where we actually say that it is possible, but it has got to be done in a certain way. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
The other part of this conversation is obviously on ensuring that we live within our means.
Correct.
Which is something that even the current president, Dr. William Ruto, has been saying that, look, there are some places where we have to tighten, and that is how it is justified. We find ourselves, introducing levies and taxes in our on our pay slips. So do you see that as a viable way of running a government and funding actually a government and its projects?
Reducing
taxation, not reducing, but introducing taxation and levies on different goods and commodities.
Exactly. Taxation is imperative. How do you raise money? The issue is what is the tax regime you have? What is the tax regime you have?
Yes.
One of the things I mean top on my list on taxation is to stop punitive tax. To stop punitive tax. And widen the tax base so that everybody is onboarded and pays tax. That way, the burden is lighter. So you don't have only those who are employed, who are in regular employment,
right?
Shouldering a lot of tax that should be shouldered by the country. So it's widen the tax base and stop punitive taxes. You can't, even internationally, you can't tax your people to prosperity. You can't prosper by taxing heavy taxation on your people.
Right.
No.
Yeah, because we understand that it's a very few Kenyans who are paying taxes compared to, and you've rightly put it, to the rest of the country. And you want to widen that net so that you can, at least allow many Kenyans as possible.
Yes,
to contribute.
Come up with a scheme. The micro and the small businesses.
Yep.
Encourage them to register. Encourage them to register. Come up with a tax regime that is not punitive. It enables them to operate, but to also pay tax. They see it as something that assists them. If you have you think of the example of many of the Scandinavian countries, the tax rate in those countries is about 60%. And those people are not complaining. In fact, we are told that in some of those countries where the people are very happy with in their lives. Why? Because once they have paid 60% of their income to tax, everything else is taken care of.
Education, health,
transport, even accommodation. And what they are left with is for their domestic use. and they are happy. So if you come up with a tax regime that shows Kenyans that, look, we collected this amount of money from you in Nairobi, we have cleaned the streets. Those traders in Nairobi, they want a clean place. We have taken garbage, we have cleaned I mean, even customers are now free coming. There is security. They are coming freely and buying goods. Those SMEs will themselves be very happy to pay.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, it's interesting you've mentioned these Scandinavian countries. Even the crime rate there is so low. You rarely encounter the police, so you wouldn't have time to bribe these people because you rarely see them.
Exactly.
But here in Kenya, you meet police officers at every corner.
Yes.
Kwa barabara, kwa maduka, kwa manyumba, kwa hospitali, yani they're everywhere. So even the opportunities for corruption are, up there. But anyway, conversation for another time.
But Paul, the issue with the Scandinavian countries, they also learned from mistakes they made.
Yes.
Correct. There were periods in their history where they were fighting and killing each other literally every day. And they had to seek external help. Okay? But they also understood something that we need to understand. The sort of economic model that would suit their purposes.
Correct.
Countries like Sweden are not die-hard capitalistic countries like America. No, there's a very strong social element in the way they go about their business.
Correct.
So they chose that particular model. Capitalism, you are allowed to make money, but they tax the living daylights out of you after a certain level. Now, again, the rule of law is what comes out as the driving force behind this.
Exactly.
They have the law, and the citizens of the country understand the pact. They adhere to the law. So things work in a certain way.
Correct.
When there is constant pushback against the law, which is what we see here, then things don't quite work the way you want them to work.
Let me tell you. I mean, in Kenya,
yes,
Kenyans, by the way, are very good people. The Kenyans will obey the law. You just need to be firm. Didn't you see the Michuki
rules? Yes,
the Michuki rules. Michuki put his foot down. Everybody complied. Let me tell you, if you put your foot down, everybody will comply. That's why I told you that as president, I will be the first one to obey the law. And I will demand that everybody obeys the law. You obey the law, you will deal with education. You will have funds for education because it is in the constitution. You will provide health care. You will give opportunities to various groups of people. So it is the legal regime which embraces, which brings on board all these other activities, and you have a country running smoothly. Yeah. Regulations, traffic regulations. Kenyans overlap. Let me tell you, if the police took firm action and there are many heavy fines, you will not see that. You will not see that. People will queue and follow the law. But because we are lax, because the police sometimes are corrupted and they don't enforce the law, all manner of things are happening. That courage has been developed in Kenya, that you don't have to follow the law to get what you want. You can go around some of the regulations and move, and it just requires political will.
Right.
Political will from the top, and you will have changes.
When you seek to do what you seek to do, you would be going against the tide that other people have considered as the norm for a very long time.
Correct.
And there will be definite pushback. But I asked the question because your tenure in office, you did have pushback. There's a particular petition that was brought before the Judicial Service Commission, and there are those who alleged that one of the things that you did was you employed very many people and you favored people who come from your neck of the woods. I don't know whether they meant Nyamira or Kisii or they meant in totality.
The region.
But there was that allegation. Of course, it didn't go anywhere.
It was not even prosecuted.
Yes, I say it didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
But I'd like you to comment on it because somebody must have picked up something for them to bring this up.
You want to believe that there was something, there was some
No. There is absolutely no way somebody would come up with something of that sort if they don't have an agenda. Why out of the blues? Because they are touching the nerve center of nepotism, something that very many people in positions of authority are actually in fact, this is my term, there's a nepotism index that comes up every once in a while, and you look at state corporations and you'll say, this state corporation, wajaluo wengi sana. This state corporation, wakikuyu wengi sana. This state corporation, wakisi wengi sana. This state corporation, ni karibu waluya wote. And it goes on and on. It's a conversation we have. And it's a conversation we must talk about because the pressure is not going to come from the naysayers. The pressures will come from the people who come from the background where you came from if you're in a position of authority.
Exactly. And that is, that's what the Gen Zs are fighting. Those who have no connections, even though they are qualified, can't get positions, can't get employment. That I'm happy you brought that petition. When it came, I looked at it and I asked my people, we laughed. We laughed. Remember, that is soon after I had made the 2017 decision.
It was immediately after you made the 2017.
Exactly. So everything was being thrown at me to see. I had the people who were in my office.
Yes.
I employed one person. One person in my office, the chief of staff from my community.
Yes.
I'm still working with him.
Yes.
The others are people I found there. And they were not many, by the way. In my office, they were, the Gizis who were there, who were working in my office, were like 3 or 4 people.
And how many people did you have in your office?
I had more than 100. When it comes to like the people who were around me, especially the security officers, we prepared a list. I got my chief of staff to prepare a list of the employees in my office. And when we got it and put it in the affidavit, that fellow didn't even prosecute that petition. It was dismissed.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, I know that is serious pressure. The Constitution requires that when you do appointments, you consider the gender balance, you consider the regional balance, you consider people with disabilities, and you consider the youth. That one I'm going to follow very, very seriously. Okay. The idea of having parastatal heads coming from one community will not happen in my government. That you can rest assured. And I've told even the Kisis as much. We will be fair in that, because that's what has brought Kenya to where we are.
How did they take it, Mheshimiwa?
Who?
The Kisis, when you told them that?
Some of them are, feel like you are not going to be there. But the honest ones,
yes,
the honest ones
agree with you.
Agree with me. Yeah, agree with me, because there are quite a number of Kisis who are qualified and competent who have not gotten into places. If there was fairness, they would have also, been taken up. So those are among the things we want to address. And unless, as a country, we say, look, we have had enough of this, and we want to change.
Yes,
we are going to get into a worse situation.
Mheshimiwa, there is something I've just been sent for here about some of the allegations, and of course City has touched on one of them. But there was a 2021 opinion piece which referenced an email from a reader asking if Maraga eliminated corruption and nepotism in the judiciary during his time as CJ. So umeongelelea nepotism. What about corruption?
Corruption. We if you go into the records,
yes,
we dealt with a number of corruption cases. Actually, before I was appointed CJ, I was heading a tribunal that was investigating a church, and we made recommendations for his dismissal.
Okay.
And he was dismissed. He appealed the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court threw the petition away. What am I talking about? We had very many petitions against the judges. Where there was evidence, we handled them in the Judicial Service Commission, which I chaired. Where there was evidence, we took action.
Okay.
We took action. There was quite a number of allegations of corruption in the judiciary. And I can't say those allegations had no basis. But when it came to evidence, and we are a country of the rule of law. The rule of law requires that if I make an allegation against you,
yes,
I must produce evidence. Now, that's where the problem is. Some of the people who are saying that the judges are corrupt are the people who have given bribes, and they have not gotten the judgments they wanted or the way they wanted.
So it's the kettle calling the pot black.
The same people, they are making noise out there, but when you ask them to give evidence, because nobody will come and say, look, I gave this judge so much. Because first of all, you are committing an offense yourself, isn't it? So because of that, quite a number of those petitions that came, there was no evidence supporting them. And that's where the problem is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another question. How would your presidency strengthen the independence of the judiciary? Would you consider reviewing the appointment process of judges to reduce political interference? So those are two questions. Number one, how would your presidency strengthen the independence of the judiciary?
Thank you. The judiciary is a very, very important arm of government. It is the one which regulates the exercise of power. Because if you act unconstitutionally, somebody will go to court and they will get orders. You have seen orders against the executive. The independence of the judiciary is not for the benefit of the judges. People sometimes misunderstand that. The independence of the judiciary, the importance of the independence of the judiciary is for the people. Why? When you have an independent judiciary, a judge will give orders in accordance with the law and the evidence before him, irrespective of the consequences. When you make decisions which will go against the political establishment, you will expect acts of reprisal. But if you know that nobody is going to do anything about it, you will go ahead. What did I do in 2017? Immediately we gave the decision. You know what the politicians said.
No, we even know what the president said.
We shall revisit.
Yes.
Yeah. Did they revisit?
Those were threats.
I think they did revisit.
they revisited in cutting budget allocations to the judiciary. So coming back to your question,
right?
I will want the other institutions to have the independence they require to operate properly. I will not interfere with judicial appointments.
Okay.
We had cases, you remember we had cases where we recommended appointments of judges and it
they were
took
30 or something.
No,
41.
Okay.
Yes.
And it took a long time before they were appointed.
It took a new government to have them appointed.
Yes. So something like that will not happen. In fact, if need be, I was looking at the provisions. If need be, we'll make provisions that if the CJ, the appointment, by the way, the appointment of judges by the president is ceremonial. The people who actually do the appointment is the Judicial Service Commission. Once they have recommended somebody for appointment, unless and that should have come even before before the list of names were taken. Exactly.
If there was an issue, you're saying it should have come out.
We do what? Diligence. Yeah? I mean, the Judicial Service Commission writes to all institutions of government,
Yes.
CID and NIS, saying, look, we have these people whom we have shortlisted for interviews. Do you have anything against them so that we don't appoint them? Because this is a position of trust. Those where some information has been given, some confidential. I mean, the chairs just acted on that where there is a basis. So we had made the recommendations for those appointments, and we were told, look, they are these people. We have information, confidential information. We said no, confidential information. At least share it with me as CJ. Share it with me. The law requires that if you make allegations against somebody,
Must prove.
you must give him a chance to defend those allegations.
Okay.
Article 47 requires that. So if you are saying this person is corrupt and you should not have appointed him, and we just take your word and don't appoint him, first of all, we would be acting against the Constitution. So we asked for that evidence and they didn't. So what will I do? I will not have anything like that. No.
Okay.
We will have even a law that if the president delays in appointing, you are given a period. If you delay in appointing,
They automatically
automatically become judges.
Okay.
And proceed.
On the issue of opulence, where we are seeing government officials really flashing around, some of them wearing clothes or accessories that cost more than a jet plane. What do we do? How will you handle that situation?
We will have a lifestyle audit. We will have compulsory lifestyle audit. You come to government. You're driving a Toyota Corolla. In no time, you are having the gasolers, the big gasolers, and you are flashing. The kind of spending you are doing can be seen. There will be a system, and you will be asked to account for that.
Yes.
A lifestyle audit that will be mandatory for all government officials, so that it will. I mean, if you have acquired your wealth legitimately, nobody should be bothered about you. But not when you have stolen from government and you are flashing it around. No.
Justice, the things you are saying are scary.
Like what?
Everything you're
the
saying,
lifestyle audit,
or everything you're saying about what you will do is scary, because the vast majority of people who want to vie for seats in this country, yes, I was going to correct myself. I'm not correcting myself. I'm actually right. There are people whose wealth cannot stand the cold stare of daylight. I hear people when they're being when they go to parliament for vetting, people talk about the wealth they own. Maybe you have, but I have never seen them being taken to task as to how that wealth was arrived at, what they did, or evidence of how that wealth is what it is. I have never seen that. Now, if you say that that is what you're going to demand, there are very many people in this country who are in positions of authority or have wealth, who will make sure that the one thing you don't do is become president, because
I know, I agree with you,
because you will cause untold suffering to them by simply obeying the dictates of the Constitution and the law. But they will be a serious pushback, and with these individuals, they tend to have a support system, individuals who thrive from that system and who benefit from that system.
Cartels.
It's a good name that they are given. How do you go around this? Because your campaign is a campaign that is it's already upsetting people. It will upset very many people who might otherwise, who will actually, instead of, you are looking for votes, but the more you speak, the more you're going to get people who will want to ensure that you never get voted in.
Exactly. Fortunately, those people will not even get to 5% of the Kenyan population.
But they have influence.
Just listen.
Yes.
Kenyans have gotten to a stage where now they just say, look, yes, so and so is telling us this, so and how is it benefiting us? The level of enlightenment now in the country is different. And I want to appeal to the hearts of Kenyans that unless we take this action, we are actually sinking. Do you want us to sink? Do you want us to fear? If we are going to fear those people, if we are going to do what they want, we are not going to get anywhere. Kenyans, I mean, there is going to be a lot of bribery, bribery, and my plea to Kenyans is please steer away from that. It is not going to help you. That's what has put us in this. Those people who have stolen from the public are going to do everything possible to make sure that I am not elected. But I'm telling you that they are a very small majority. I mean, they are a very small number. The majority of Kenyans, if they decide and say, look, enough is enough, I will be elected overwhelmingly, and we will make change in this country. And that's the appeal I'm making to the Kenyans. Let us not allow people to steal from us, use that money to bribe us, give us handouts, and then we elect them back to power. It's like you are endorsing what they are doing, and they will continue doing it. To the detriment of the country.
Yeah. We have these independent constitutional offices such as the IBC, NCIC, and EACC. What would your presidency do to ensure that, number one, these institutions are strengthened? Because as it is, it looks like they are kind of weak. Some of them, like the NCIC, have complained of funding. So what would your presidency do to ensure that these particular offices function as they should to the fullest, and perhaps even strengthen them a little bit more so that we can give them some teeth to bite?
Thank you very much. Those commissions,
yes,
are constitutional. Why? Because they are extremely important. What I'm going to do is, first of all, to make sure that recruitment into those positions is transparent and is integral. It follows the law. You get men and women of integrity to man those positions. Now, what weakens most of them is funding. Deliberately. Sometimes deliberately, they are not given funds because they are not supposed to go to operate. So they are handicapped. You will make sure that you facilitate them, give them funding. Some of them require even recruitment of some specialized officers, some with the technical knowledge in some areas. Like if you talk of CID, the CID officers require quite a number of officers from technical areas. When you are talking about handwriting experts, you are talking about chemical analysis of some things, some articles that have been involved in crime.
Forensics. Yeah.
You need technical knowledge. Get those people strengthened by getting the technical officers that they require. Get the officers, especially the heads, to be men and women of integrity and demand accountability. And I can assure you they will perform. They will perform. So it is a question of strengthening those. Like now, if we are going to deal with corruption, strengthen EACC. EACC is one of the institutions which is not well funded. Give it enough funding and get the officers to work. So we are going to do that. Like the judiciary, for example. I mean, we know the role the judiciary is playing.
Yes.
And the reason why Article 173 of the Constitution demanded that as soon as the budget of the judiciary is approved by Parliament, the entire budget is supposed to be put in the judiciary fund account. Why? Because, you know, when the court gives orders against the state, what the state does is they will frustrate you. You have the budget. You want the money released. You are not given exchequer. And the time goes. Sometimes you end up. First of all, the judiciary budget is very low.
Yes.
And you will be surprised that a number of times a lot of money is returned to the judiciary at the end having not been spent. Why? Because of the releases. They are delayed.
Yes.
So in institutions like those, like the judiciary, I will ensure that the budget, first of all, the budget of the judiciary, I mean, even if we give them 50 billion,
yes,
what is that to a budget of 4 trillion? Give it and deposit it in the judiciary account. There was very good reason why the framers of the constitution came up with that provision, so that the judiciary is not held, hostage.
Yeah.
When they are supposed to be given funds. So those institutions, what we need to do is to strengthen them, get them proper manpower and the funding, and they will do their work.
Let me give you an example of something that has happened recently. We have the EACC, for example, saying candidate so and so is not fit to stand elections and contest because of these reasons as pertains to corruption. But then again, you have IBC giving that person a clean bill of health, and then that person ends up becoming a leader in this country. And we also saw that even in the 2022 elections, where very many individuals were allowed to get to the very end, and right now they are serving in parliament and other institutions. Mheshimiwa, what in such a case, ideally, what should happen whereby one institution disagrees with another or disregards the other's advice?
I mean, those are the shenanigans I wanted to deal with. Family. You get somebody who the CIDs are having. He is making statements. I mean, in the CID, he's going to EACC all the time. And here you are, you claim for what? For election. That's how we have gotten where we are. That's how we have gotten where we are. In the by-elections that we had, there. I mean, I don't want to talk much about that because there are petitions coming up.
Right.
And some are on that issue, that some people were allowed to contest in spite of the complaints, the petitions that had been made even to EACC itself, that this person is not qualified to be nominated for election. So that's what I'm saying. That's the law we wanted to implement to the letter. If you implement the law to the letter, those people will not even make an application for nomination because they know they will not get anywhere. And unless we deal, unless we deal with those issues, family, we are going to continue being where we are.
Yes.
And in my view, get much worse.
Yeah.
Yes.
In the year 2003, Justice Rengira. And the commission that he had came up with a report. Okay, it had very far-reaching consequences. One was the shock factor that first we termed it the judicial surgery, radical
surgery.
Yes. The thing that I found alarming was at that point in time there were 9 Court of Appeal judges, and 5 of them, was it 6? 5, when that report as being investigated or being indicted. The High Court, out of 36 judges, 18. Magistrates, out of 254, there were 82. Now, the thinking behind it, I can understand. because we had a judiciary that in the Moi era was just determined. The president determined who did what and who went where, who was the prosecutor, and there were a lot of problems that we had. Now, but it was something that pointed to an attempt to sort out a problem. There are those who argued it created more problems than it provided solutions. The options which were given to judges, you either resign or you're prosecuted. Some people fought it. I know Justice Waki fought it, Bogoli fought it, and they won. In your position as president, would you encourage something like that? A purge, not just of the judiciary. No. A purge that looks into the conduct of members of parliament as well. And a purge that also looks into the conduct of those in the executive, not the president, those in the executive. Something that comes out and says, folks, this is what we've looked at and this is where we have a problem.
You will not need to come up with the radical surgery of the entire institution, for example. Because you see, in such a case, I mean, for example, take the example of the judiciary. The judges make decisions every day.
They do.
Some people lose, others win. Those who lose sometimes say, look, no, this judge must have been seen, even when you have not been seen. So if when you have a wholesale condemnation of an institution,
yes,
it is dangerous.
Yes,
and you know it does a lot of harm to the
reputation of the institution.
Exactly.
Yes.
Where you have a whiff of those corruption allegations.
Yes.
That's why I said let's strengthen our institutions. Let us, NIS are there. They give information.
They do.
Once you get this information, I mean, follow the legal channels, and you will get somebody who is taking bribes left, right, and center. Just give him a little time. You will catch him. And as I told you, once you get a few of them, once you do investigations and get a few of them behind the bars, my friend, you'll make a very, very strong statement, and you will deal with that precisely. Yeah? We have cases like the ones you have talked about the MPs. Those fellows, you will get them very easily. Yeah? Very, very easily, because the way they behave, if you are keen and you are enforcing the law diligently,
yes,
you will catch them, and it will send a strong message, and you will rectify the problem.
I deliberately left out one institution, the police service, leaving the best for last, because in the absence of the active participation, even when you have an ethics and anti-corruption commission, the police service is central to everything that we're talking about here, and we know where they are at. You must have a plan for them. What is your plan? Because I hear people talking of security in the most general terms, but what is it that we need to do for this service for them to actually do what it is that they are supposed to do, or to fulfill the mandate of the offices that they hold?
Thank you. You know, the police, let me tell you, I was in the task force that dealt with a number of issues in the police service, and I had the opportunity of talking to quite a number of police officers, very many of them very senior. I was impressed. I met some very, very honest police officers, who wanted to do their work. There are quite a number of police officers who are very honest, but they are not given a chance because of the corrupt system. We will get to deal with those ones who are involved in corruption, especially in the Department of Traffic, where we were told that bribes are collected from the roads and shared all the way to the top, we will deal with that family, and it will change. There are quite a number of police officers, I can tell you, who, if given an opportunity, and you hold them accountable, they will perform. They will perform. That is one of the institutions, by the way, which will be very easy to to reform.
Right.
Yeah.
Mheshimiwa, we have about 13 minutes before we let you go. So allow me to just look at some of the comments we have on our social media space. Someone is asking here, I like what Maraga is offering. Just let me know where I can contribute to his campaign.
Yes.
I do know that there's a pay bill number somewhere.
Yes.
Is that still ongoing?
Yeah. It
Okay.
is there.
All right. Utatupatia your pay bill number before utoke hapa.
Yes.
Where is that? Some of these questions you've actually answered. So I'm trying to see
The ones I have not answered.
yenye hujaguzia. And as I do that, there's one actually nimetumua screenshot. I'd like to ask former CJ, how does he raise money? Oh, again, you mtajibu.
Yeah.
Where is that question? Oh yeah, here we go. Movie, ask again, it's about contribution. Is it the only thing you guys want to do for Mheshimiwa here?
Yeah, they are keen. They are going to. I'm happy they are going to.
Oh my goodness.
How many people have asked?
Oh my goodness. If I were to count, I can tell you, I've seen more than 10 of those comments here. All right. Okay, someone is asking, ask him about education sector that is almost collapsing. All right. Tuanze na hiyo nikitafuta hizo zingine.
Yes.
Education sector.
Yes.
Right.
I'm happy you've asked that question. It's something we are working on very, very seriously. I have sat with quite a number of experts in education. They have told me there is a lot of wastage in the budget given to the Ministry of Education. That if it is directed to the areas it's budgeted for, it will do a lot. So education, first of all, education is a constitutional right to our children.
Yes, it is.
Article 43. One of the things we are going to do is to ensure that we ring-fence funds for education. Why is that important? This is important because a child who is going to university, he just needs to miss a semester and he has wasted a whole year. You can easily ruin the life of that child. So we are going to ensure that there are some areas where we are going to ensure that the budget, whatever is budgeted, is ring-fenced. If you have emergencies, you find ways of dealing with those, but you don't interfere with education. You don't interfere with the health. A sick person cannot wait. Somebody in pain cannot wait. The pain has got to be addressed. So we have to give priority to those, make sure that we ring-fence the funding that goes there. Like the capitation now, which is creating a huge problem. It's because of the wastage that is there that we are not able to give capitation to schools. So that's one area we are going to address and address very firmly.
There's one question here on doctors. It's asked by one lady. I'm not sure if it's a lady, but Sonnet anasema, what would he do about newly minted doctors? Would he treat his cohorts posting in the same way as teachers? That is the national government overseeing their posting and compensation instead of the counties. How would you deal with this problem of doctors within counties and vis-a-vis what they should have been, what I think should have been done by the national government?
Health is devolved. We have to follow the law. Health is devolved.
Right.
Find a mechanism of having the posting of the doctors and their welfare being taken care of by the county government. As I said, look, when you have a budget, when you have given counties budgets, it's a question of following up. Quite a number of times you find that the allocations are not released in time. and some counties are suffering. They are not even able to pay the doctors and other workers. That is something that must be addressed. Something that must be addressed. As I said, and I'm sure you are the one who asked that question. Let us live within our means. When we have come up with a budget and we have funding that goes there, ensure it goes to the services. I mean, health is a critical service.
Yes.
A critical service that cannot wait. So when you have doctors demonstrating and not treating, that should worry you. Yeah.
All right.
You see, all this speaks to money. There are those who argue that only a third of our revenue is actually left after we've paid debts. And that third is what it is we try to
share.
Yes. And they also argue that it is because that third is not enough that we now have to borrow. Okay? That's justifying the borrowing. The discussion around the debts that we cannot quite understand, the debts that don't quite fit into the rules that we have in this country regarding borrowing specifically for development, comes into being for this reason. We are talking about running a government. Right now, if you took over, the same situation that President Ruto has is the same situation that you would have. You would have these debts, they require payment. You have these needs that we need to meet. The odious debt discussion then becomes central. Because if these debts that were not used for what was purposed, which in essence did not comply with the law, if we didn't have them, very simply, we would have more money. If we're not paying for them, we'd have more money to spend. And then there's the question of how do you ensure that the citizenry actually have money to do their business? Why am I raising this issue? Close to 57% of the revenue of KRA, I mean, you need to check my figures, come from indirect tax, VAT, etc., etc., etc. If people have more money, they spend more. It's indirect tax. So the government actually gets more taxes. If people don't have money, they spend less. So the taxes automatically go down. Now, here you are in a position to try and ensure that the economy is jacked up and that more people have money in their hands so that the economy can actually move. What would you do?
What would I do?
Yes.
First of all, we're coming with a manifesto that is going to deal with the economy. The economy has been hit very, very badly. Some companies have closed down and moved to other countries. You know that?
Yes, the one they moved to is currently having a problem, and so they may need to come back. Yes.
but we should worry about what took them out.
Yes.
The regime we have here, and that's why I told you that if we don't follow the law, we will frustrate quite a number of investors. Some of them who want to come, when they want to come here, they are told, look, you want to be licensed? How many shares are you giving me? You are laughing, and that's a fact. That's a fact. That's what has happened. And some people have said, go to hell, I'm not coming. I'm not going to give anybody any shares. The regulation, even the business environment that is there, the costs that are there come, for example, if you go to tourism, the taxation in tourism is heavy, and those who are having tourist resorts can't see any value for the money they are paying. So it's a question, as I said, of dealing with the tax regime so that you attract investment into the country. When you have a law, the regulations that are there, we have had this a number of times. Like Rwanda, you go there, you want to register the business, it will take you a day or two
to
go through the process. and you register. Kenya, you will take a long time. Some of those are among the things I will deal with. You will have a one shop, one stop shop. You go there and you are asked all the questions that are required,
and you're sorted.
Make it easy. Make the business environment easy.
Yeah.
Get to sort out the business community.
Yeah.
In fact, the government will go to them. My government will go to the business community and find out what do you want government to do for you to thrive.
Okay.
Because when business thrives, you not only generate employment, you have tax. Yeah? So Kenya is a great nation. Kenya has great people. It is governance which is a problem.
Okay.
It is governance which is a problem. If we can get our act together on governance, all other things will fall into place.
We now have 2 minutes.
Yes.
So last but not least, someone is asking your thoughts on CBC, the competency-based education.
We are working on that.
Yes.
This is a program that has come without proper preparation. The teachers themselves have said we were not trained. I mean, the program is just being rolled out without proper preparation being done, and as a result, it has literally collapsed. These are the problems in education that we need to deal with. We cannot afford to experiment with our children. No. Our care must be taken, and we have very competent people. If they are given an opportunity and if we listen to them, we have had very many commissions on education.
Oh yes.
With very many recommendations being made. What my information is that some of those recommendations are first class, beautiful, but the government implements, cherry picks, and implements those which will generate contracts, and people get money instead of dealing with the problem wholesale. Yeah, I mean, CBC is a huge problem. Education as a whole, even from university,
yes,
is a huge problem for parents and children, and that's one area, as I said, we are going to give priority. Education and health, we are going to ring-fence the funding for that, so that we don't ruin the lives of our children.
All right.
Yes.
Former CJ Maraga, thank you so much for coming through and having this conversation with us. So much we would have wanted to discuss, but
yes,
the show has got to come to an end. However, we invite you again.
Yes.
Pay bill.
Atapena pay bill saizi tu. We invite you again to have conversation also on matters to do with manufacturing.
Yes.
Some of those questions, of course,
that are coming.
Yes, from our viewers. But once again, asante tena sana.
Yes. I just want to say one last thing.
Sure.
Kenyans, where we are, we either change or crash. We either change or crash. Give me a chance. I will offer servant leadership. I will enforce the law. I will deal with the corruption head on, and I can assure you that given a chance, we are going to change this country and change it dramatically, fundamentally, and we will all be very, very, very happy.
Right.
Yes.
Asante tena sana. And as we do that, kuna mtu amesema hapa, this is Brian Bruno. Brian has actually sent a couple of questions, but Brian, we shall deal with them going forward. Tupatie pay bill, mheshimiwa.
Yes. Yeah.
Unaweza nipatia ndasoma, haina shida. Ama upatie mheshimiwa asome. All right. As they sort that out. Brian Bruno says, my vote goes straight to Elder Maraga. Karibu sana. 100,000 voices. If police are getting their basic needs met, would this be a gateway to deter the taking of bribes? Good question.
Yes.
And then Erico Wara again. Or is this Mulimu Vincent? Oh, sorry. Ask him what his view of industrial parks and revitalizing the what? This is industrial parks is concerned. Yes, like I said, we shall invite him so we he can talk about that and much more. And then there's Kosio anasema, ask him about education sector that is almost collapsing. He has answered a bit on that. And then Sonet says, thanks Radio Generation for extending this session. Of course we had to. Hakuna venye tutaacha Chief Justice akuja hapa na atoke bila kutupatia story. And then last but not least, Njuki Mugizme, I hope I'm saying this correctly. You're saying it's often said that democracy is destroyed by people who are voted in democratically, but once elected, they go against it.
Yeah, it's the pay bill.
Yeah.
Pay bill. It is there.
All right, so the pay bill is right here. Wacha niwapatie. This is Friends of Maraga Limited. Pay bill number is 542. That's very easy. Pay bill again is 542. And then the account number is 001669. Again, the account number 001669. Once you get there, you can contribute anything.
Yes. Once you insert this numbers
details. Yes.
Yeah. What will come when you're paid is Friends of Maraga Limited. Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Asante sana. In case you've missed that pay bill, you can replay this clip because it's on YouTube.
Yes.
It's also on our Facebook.
Yes.
It's also on our X account.
Yes.
You will get that pay bill number, and I'm sure it's on your various social media handles.
Yes.
Sawa.
Thank you.
Mheshimiwa, asante sana.
Asante sana. Nashukuru.